Let me ask you something. What comes to mind when you hear about men who focus entirely on their partner's pleasure? Men who aren't afraid to embrace the most intimate and vulnerable parts of a relationship. Some say it's respect, others might call it confidence. But today, Jay, we're diving deeper into this idea, men who lick women's vaginas, and why they're often seen as the most. Now, D, you might be wondering the most, what are they, the most passionate, the most loving, or is it something more profound? By the end of this video, you'll see how this seemingly small act reflects some of the most powerful traits any man can have. So stay with me, Jay, because this is about much more than just intimacy. It's about trust, respect, and connection. Let's start with a little known truth for centuries. Acts of intimacy, like oral sex, have been surrounded by stigma and stereotypes. Society often focuses on a man's pleasure, leaving women's needs overlooked or considered secondary. But here's what makes men who prioritize their partner's pleasure stand out. They reject these outdated ideas. They know that intimacy is a two-way street where both partners deserve to feel valued, and what this act symbolizes, fulfilled. This isn't just about physical satisfaction, it's about what this act symbolizes. Men who engage in oral intimacy are sending a clear message: I see you, I value you, and your pleasure matters to me. Think about that for a second. In a world where many relationships lack genuine connection, these men are showing up fully willing to give as much as they take. But it doesn't stop there. Let's talk science for a moment. Studies reveal that men who focus on their partner's pleasure often have higher levels of emotional intelligence. They're more in tune with their partner's emotions, more empathetic, Jay, and better at communication, all of which are crucial for a strong, lasting relationship. When a man engages in acts, the magic happens of pleasure like this. It activates parts of the brain associated with trust and bonding. It's not just about the physical, it's an emotional connection. And that's where the magic happens. These men aren't afraid to be vulnerable. And that vulnerability creates deeper intimacy. Now, I know some of you might be skeptical. Maybe you're thinking, isn't this just another way to flatter women? Or does this really make a difference? Well, let me tell you, it does. This isn't just about technique or performance. It's about breaking free from the stereotypes of toxic masculinity that tell men they can't be giving, sensitive, or emotionally available. Here's why this matters true. Why this matters. Intimacy goes beyond the physical. It's about trust, mutual respect, and the willingness to prioritize your partner's needs. Men who engage in oral intimacy demonstrate that they're not afraid of putting their partner first. And let me tell you, that's an incredibly rare and valuable trait. In fact, these men are often seen as more confident and secure in themselves. They don't need to dominate or control to feel powerful. Their power comes from knowing they can make their partner feel loved and appreciated in the most meaningful way. The flip side, but let's not ignore the flip side. For some men, there's hesitation around this act, maybe due to cultural taboos, a lack of communication, or simple insecurity. If you're one of those men, let me say this: it's okay. The key is to understand that intimacy is a journey. It's about learning, growing, and being open to new experiences. And for women watching this, it's important to create a safe space where your partner feels comfortable exploring these sides of themselves without judgment at its core. This is emotional depth. About emotional depth, men who aren't afraid to please their partner in this way are showing that they're deeply connected to the idea of love as a partnership. They're willing to step out of their comfort zone, break societal norms, and embrace vulnerability. That's what makes them the most caring, the most attentive, the most secure in their masculinity. And honestly, isn't that the kind of man we all admire? So, outro. The next time someone makes a joke about this topic or dismisses it as unimportant, remember this: it's not just about the ACT, it's about the mindset, the connection, and the respect it represents. Men who prioritize their partner's pleasure are the real winners, and they show us what it truly means to love selflessly. If this video gave you a new perspective, make sure to hit that like button, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more content that challenges societal norms and inspires deeper connections. See you in the next video.